After a 2-week hiatus, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of We Got Next. The two hosts on the road, as always, doing various different things in this world. I'm one of your hosts, Hayes, aka AO Shifty, with the one, the only Steven at Steven_Springs. Steven, what's been going on in life? How's everything? How's your college football life? Because this is that time of the year for you.
It is. Things are good. Kids are back in school. Mason started pre-K today. Mia started first grade last week, so they're out of the house. So that's cool. Life is good. It is blazing hot in Maryland. I know you're not in Maryland, but it's blazing hot here. Other
Hey,
than
West
that,
Coast hot too.
huh?
West Coast is hot too.
I bet. Yeah. Other than that, things are good. College football life is great. Penn State, the boys are 1-0. I was up there Saturday night. Dude, I was in state college for less than 24 hours.
Really?
Quick story. I'm going to leave out a lot of details that I'll tell you at a later time. So, I went up with, all right. So you've been up with me 3 times, I think, 3 or 4 times. Like
Yeah.
there's always a new squad. It's like Jay Hill is usually the constant. BJ is always there too. 95% of the time. BJ is my brother-in-law. But like there's always like other crew members that just kind of jump in, right? So that's what we had. So Jordan coaches at a high school in the Harrisburg area. So me and BJ went up Friday night to Harrisburg. Plan was to go see the second half of Jordan's game. My wife and the kids were on the way to Tillman Island down this way over the Bay Bridge for Labor Day weekend. I was going to go meet them on Sunday. They left at like 5 or 4:30ish. Brooke calls me, says her car died. So I had to go. She almost got on the Bay Bridge. Didn't quite get there yet because that would have been a catastrophe if she would have been on the Bay Bridge and her car would have died. You know exactly what I'm talking about too. That would have been no bueno. So
That bridge is insane.
Yeah, it's literally one of the worst man-made things I've ever been on in my entire life. So, and if there's traffic on the Bay Bridge, like you just
Good. Forget it.
You're done. You're done. So I went to go help her. We couldn't jump the car. Battery was completely dead. So we had to get it towed. And by the time we got back, it was 8:15. So still early enough. But we missed the game. By the time we left here, it was like 8-ish. We got to Harrisburg 9:45. So by the time Jordan finished the game, did media, talked to this coach and that coach, talked to the players, did all those things, whatever. We left Harrisburg. We had to go make one more stop. We had to go to the house, get his stuff, this and that. It was me, BJ, Jordan, his brother-in-law, Mikey, and one of his former teammates, Mike Motti, who was a linebacker at Penn State with Jordan. So the 5 of us drove up to State College. By the time we got to State College, it was 1:30 in the morning. So
No,
game wasn't until 7:30 the following night. So we slowly got ourselves together Saturday morning. We went to McDonald's to get some breakfast. And to my bewilderment, not Sheets. They closed the one in downtown State College. I didn't get Sheets the entire weekend, which was so demoralizing. That was just so painful. There was just no time though. Because we're in State College for like 20 hours. And like to do all that and then attend a night game and then leave right after that, that's like that's a tough day. That's a long day. So tailgate all day, which by the way, tailgating and not drinking is humanly impossible, I think. I made it through somehow. Yeah. I smoked 3 cigars on Saturday, and that like I felt it. Like I felt like my lungs just like decreased by like 100%. Like my lung capacity just dipped. But I had a good buzz going. So, and there were some other means in there, as you can imagine.
Of course.
So shout out to the boys. So
shout out.
Stopped and saw everybody. We saw all the homies, and we made our day. And it was hot too, but made our way. So went to the game, did all that stuff. By the time we got to the car, got everybody together, found everybody because service at the stadium sucks, as do most college stadiums. By the time we got everybody together, collected ourselves, got in the car, got out of traffic, got back to Harrisburg, it was 1:15 in the morning. By the time I got to my house, pulled up to my house with BJ, it was 3:15 in the morning. So
Shut up.
So we got to State College at 1:30 Friday or Saturday morning, technically, and left and got home 1:30
Oh
or 3
shit, that's right.
3:15 Sunday morning. So because I wasn't drinking, I drove. So it was fine. Um, so that was a long day. Long day. But the boys got the W over
They
West
did.
Virginia. Drew Aller, our quarterback, looks like a stud. Pumped about that. Super pumped about that. Got Delaware this weekend. That should be over by the end of the first quarter. I got a buddy of mine that I've known since second grade coming to visit me this weekend. So pumped about that. Good to see him. Haven't seen him in a while. So I'm gonna take him about the town, take him about the neighborhood, show him what's good, as you know. Um,
That's
yeah, and then might get in some trouble. I don't know. He might. You never know.
hey.
But quick stands will come out tomorrow night, 8:30, Spotify as per usual. So yeah, I mean overall things are good in college football weekend. I mean, do you want to just dive into that now?
Yeah, so we might as well do it. And let me set the scene because I have a lot of questions for you. And the main topic is going to be the quarterbacks. So USC, Caleb Williams, what are your thoughts on kind of how that is?
Yeah, he's nice. Like the early, like the first 4 games of the season, typically you don't play anybody. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's like you get those random, other Power Five games like Penn State had against West Virginia, and those are scheduled out, years in advance. But like, we play Delaware on Saturday, we play UMass in sometime in October. So like, you play a lot of cupcake teams in the beginning, as do a lot of teams. USC played week 0. Then they played. I forget who they even played on Saturday. Doesn't matter.
This
Caleb Williams
Saturday or last one?
last Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Who they play? Stanford? No. I figure I don't know who they played. It doesn't matter. Caleb Williams has 10 touchdowns, no interceptions. Probably he's Heisman favorite still. He looked good. He doesn't want to play for the Cardinals. I don't blame him. So there's that. Deion's son, Shadir Sanders, looks legit. I mean, TCU's defense is dog shit. So they play Nebraska this weekend. That should be a better competition. Nebraska's defense isn't great, but it's better than TCU's by far. That game is in Colorado, so that should be hype. Game's at noon as well, so that should be a great game. Travis Hunter, the receiver DB, is nice,
Stud.
nice, bro,
Yes,
nice,
yes.
like really
If his
good.
only mess up is dropping the touchdown, that's pretty good.
Fine. So it's one game. Like I don't usually start putting stock until like week 4 or 5, or until you jump into conference play and you're going. So we'll see at the end of September where they're at. They have a tough schedule in the Pac-12 because the Pac-12 is actually pretty good this year. So
Mm-hmm.
I need to say this too. I personally don't like Deion Sanders. Like it's
Really?
tough. It's tough because we didn't grow up with Deion. Like we didn't grow
Yeah.
up with like prime. Like we've caught him on like, you know, he played for the Ravens in the early 2000s. I barely remember that. That wasn't Deion Sanders. That wasn't,
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys, Niners. That wasn't like 90s Deion Sanders. That's completely different Deion Sanders. I just don't like his the aura. I don't like the how he has to like every answer to every question has to be a novel. And it's like, bro, just answer the question and let's move on. Like I don't need you to like point out all the naysayers, the haters, like all the tweets. I don't need that. I don't need the extra. I know that's who he is. That's who
Mm-hmm.
Dion is. It kind of makes it like it's almost like it's always about him, which like again, that like I know it's not like that's not what he's about, but like that's how it, at least for me, that's how it comes off. Now, between the white lines, the team that's playing for him, I like that team. It's a fun team. Like that seems like if they go 8-4, 9-3, even if they go 2-9, but like he's putting up 300 yards a game, through the air. Sanders is whatever. Like it's a very exciting team, so that's cool. I just don't like Dion, and like I'm allowed to not like Dion. I was at the office today, and I was talking to the guys I work with, and they were like, "How can you not like Dion?" I'm like, I'm allowed to not like Dion. It's like I'm allowed to like Michael Vick. I still love Michael Vick, even though what he did off the field was a heinous thing. I just don't like the way Dion carries himself, and that's okay. That's prime. Like that's Dion. Like I'm trying to think of who else like that we grew up with. That like I mean, and the other thing is too, like Dion backs it up though. Like he would talk his talk, and he would back it up on the field. That's cool, man. There's athletes who talk their talk but don't back it up. If you can back it up, You can talk. I just don't like it. Like Terrell Owens the same way. People hated T.O. Randy Moss is the same way. People hated Randy Moss because he would talk his talk. They wouldn't necessarily talk shit. It was just like the way that like things came out. Like, it's not what they said, but how they said it. And you can tell there's always an arrogance about it, which again, that's fine. Like athletes are allowed to be arrogant. I'm totally cool with that. I just don't like it. That's just me. Like I just now if he goes 10-2 or somehow they win the Pac-12, then I'll give him his props. Doesn't mean I'm gonna like him, but I'll give him his props though. Like, I'm allowed to like not like him as a coach. Person seems like a good dude. I just don't, like LeVar Ball. I'm sure he's a great dad. He clearly is a great dad. I just don't like his shenanigans. Like Stephen A. Smith, great at what he does. I don't like him. Skip Bayless, same shit. So I'm allowed to not like these people as like a coach. Like it's just that's just me. So we didn't grow up with Dion. That's what I said. Like we didn't have prime 90s Dion to like, get to know him. Like now we're just dealing with him now as a coach, which it's like feels like it's the same person, just different occupation. So whatever. I want to get that out there because I was talking about that at work today, and it's been on my mind for a while. It's been on my chest, so I need to get it off. But now I can't hear you. You're muted. So
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So one thing I wanted to end up bringing up before we go forward, USC's past 2 games were in Nevada, and then they also played San Jose State.
Second of all, well, real quick, USC's defense needs to get better. So I'll just say that. But anyway, like two awful things.
The other thing I wanted to end up bringing up was Colorado did increase their ticket sales because of what Deion Sanders did, but I fully agree with, they did. It was insane. I think the same way Colorado is similar to how Nebraska's women's volleyball team is, which is similar to Iowa women's basketball team. They have like this one player or group of people that are there, and it increased it now. The only thing is, can you sustain it? Or also, it's TCU, yes, but TCU doesn't even have half the team that they had last year.
Do you like Deion?
Deion and Stephen A. Smith are in kind of the same boat for me.
Sure.
Because they are intelligent individuals, and a lot of players love to play for Deion Sanders. But the only thing is, Deion, the way he played football, is the way Deion's going to coach as well. So that's something.
It just comes with it comes with the territory of it, and like it's not like he turns it on and turns it off. It's who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe I just have like old school mentality about things, but like I don't know.
Yeah.
Shoot me if you want to.
Final thing I want to say with college football is like Steven said, if you look at all the games that happened this past week, they were all blowouts except Colorado TCU. Their legit scores are 56-3, are some of them. 45-0 was Kansas State's game. And then you have Tulane, they won 37-17. Only close one was Iowa against Utah State, which was 24-14. Nothing else really happened. Colorado did move into the top 25. A surprise, and I guess because I don't necessarily follow Florida State as much, Florida State is up there. Like Florida State is one of those teams. They jumped a lot. I think it was into the top 10. Number 4.
They were 8th. They were right behind Penn State, and they jumped up to 4th, which, I mean, yeah, I know they pummeled the 5th-ranked team in the country, but that was a little surprising, but whatever. It's very early on.
Yeah. And then the other thing to just make mention of, Clemson is not the Clemson that used to happen. The running joke right now. Hell no. The running joke is Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson are kind of what helped Dabo so much. And not having either one of them or all those wide receivers that they had, it really does change a lot of things. And shout out to the quarterback for Duke because he tried to get an extension on his assignment, and the professor said, "No, we're not doing this today."
Screw that professor, man. Screw that professor. Dude, he's the worst. No one's ever taken this class again, bro. I don't even know what class it is. Like, dude, just come on, dude. Just give him the extension. Like,
that's really it.
What a dick.
So, other thing before we end up going into the NFL, which I'm excited to talk about, is Peyton Manning now teaching classes or like being a co-professor at the University of Tennessee. Would you take a class of his, or do you think it's just one of those things of it's Peyton Manning and Omaha Productions?
Yeah, no, I'm in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, he could be teaching me like advanced trigonometry. And I don't care. I'm gonna learn trigonometry.
Yeah. So I feel the same way. I want to segue into the NFL because that's the big thing that's going to come out tomorrow. So I'll end up putting this out so everyone can end up hearing it and thinking about it before the games tomorrow. Fantasy wise, we have to talk about that. We don't have to dive too deep into it. I was joking actually earlier today with one of my friends, John. He was like, I bet when you end up going on the podcast tonight, you and Steven are just going to talk about fantasy football and the NFL. And I was like, damn right, that's what we were going to do.
Yep.
But what are your thoughts fantasy wise? How did your teams end up going? How many did you end up going into? What did you do with all that?
Okay, so here's my team for our league, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll run through it real quick. Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley. I had the first pick in the draft, and I took Saquon, obviously, which I got haters left and right now. So we don't have to get into that. I did it from my phone. So I don't know what happens with auto pick on your phone, but it screws it up. So whatever.
I hate it.
Brees Hall, I end up with him. I know he's hurt. I got DK Metcalf, Jahan Dotson, Evan Ingram, Chris Godwin. I got the Jets defense, Josh Myers, kicker for the Seahawks. That's a pretty solid starting lineup. Bench, I got Aaron Rodgers, Pat Freiermuth, Devin Singletary, Gabe Davis, Juju Smith-Schuster, whose knee apparently could explode at any second.
Explode at any second, yeah.
Right. And Jawan Johnson. Auto pick got me 4 quarterbacks. I don't know how. I dropped both those guys in a second. And picked up Jawan Johnson. So that was dope. And then I'm doing 2 leagues. I'm doing this one and then another one that I've done with my family for a while now. But that's it. That's it. Like they're cheap leagues. I'll pay you when I pay you. Cheap leagues. Christian knows I'm good for it. I got into a league that was in our neighborhood, and there's a lot of high rollers in our neighborhood, and that your boy's not one of them. So it went from 50, which is cool. I'm fine with that. Then it went to 100, which is like, okay, that's like some effort you got to put into it. Then drastically, it went from $100 to $350.
How?
I don't know. I was like, initially I was like, sure, like it's something to do with the boys. It's a lot of work that I don't want to do, but I was last second on Monday, like 3 hours before the draft. I texted the guy who runs it. And I was like, look, dude, I got to back out. Like the price is what it is. It ain't gonna change last minute. Not doing that. Apparently, everyone agreed to it. No one really always agreed to it. So I backed out of that one because I don't have the time, man. And I'm traveling a lot. Most of the time, I'm going to be back like around the time games start anyway. So like, I can't spend the week doing that. And like with that kind of draft, I just don't have the time anymore. 10 years ago, dude, yeah, I'm in like 10 leagues. Like no problem. I have all the time in the world on Sunday morning. Wake up at 10, go about my business and like set my lineups and we're good. I don't have that kind of time anymore. I just don't. And like 350 is a lot of non-refundable dollars that like I can use otherwise. Like 350, absolutely. Like on the surface might not seem like a lot of money because like I've spent $350 on a lot of different things. But like when it's fantasy football and it's a lot of work that I got to put in, like now the draft, whatever. Like no, I don't have the mental capacity for that anymore. So I backed out of that one. And like, what is he gonna say? No, dude, you're locked in. Like no, like,
you can't do that. No, they can figure something out.
I'm out. Like yeah, go dude. There's dozens of other people in our neighborhood that would love to spend $350 because they can. So
exactly.
Yeah, I backed out of that one. But so no, I'm in 2 and that's it. It's easy to make.
I'll keep mine super fast so we can end up getting into the picks. But I'm in 5 this year. I had
5. Are you kidding me, bro? Why? Why are you in 5? Yeah, I just spit out my drink. Why are you in 5 fantasy leagues? I know you don't have any kids. I know you don't. I know it's just you. You're rocking solo. I get that, and I respect that. Why are you in 5 fantasy leagues? That is disgusting. That is absolutely. So, you know what? I don't even care. Just read your team. I don't even care. Don't even try and explain yourself. Just read your team. I can't.
So, I didn't even tell you. I had to do a couple of spaces as well for some of these drafts. And like some of the spaces I was drinking, then I'm trying to talk to them and explain to them the rationale. Before I get into the team that I have for mine, with yours, what are your thoughts on the Breece Hall, Dalvin Cook? I had a conversation with some of the friends like in my crypto world, and I was like, what are your thoughts on Breece Hall, Dalvin Cook? Because they paid Dalvin Cook a good amount of money. It's not like they just paid him like the peasant's man salary. So who do you think is going to get the lion's share of it? And is Brees Hall really going to be what they think he's going to be?
Well, Dalvin Cook's going to get it until Brees Hall comes back healthy, which I don't know when he's expected to be back, but he tore his ACL last year. So you never know how that's going to go. It's not like he twists his ankle or something. So I would imagine it's going to be Dalvin Cook. And they signed him to a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
like a prove it.
yeah. So Brees Hall is obviously their long term guy. I would anticipate that's the case. But if your window is like this 2 or 3 year window with Aaron Rodgers, you need everything you need everything you got. So Dalvin, and again, we've said it before, Dalvin Cook is no slouch. Like he's really good. Like he's one of the top tier backs in the league. Is he an MVP caliber back? No, but he's a Pro Bowl back and he's a potential All Pro kind of guy. So yeah, I think he'll get a majority of the carries at least to start of the season, and then if Brees Hall comes back and he's healthy, he's ready to go, then sure, then it'll be good for them. He can come in and get his 10 to 15 carries, Brees Hall that is, and they'll ease him back in obviously, but he'll get those, especially if he comes in. They ease him in, and then it's later in the season, and you can, they're kind of building towards the playoffs at that point. That's an ideal situation for them. He can kind of ride the bench for a little bit, ease into the carries, and then start getting those 10, 15 carries, touches, whatever. And then Dalvin Cook can kind of take off some of the load. And then as the playoffs creep around, hopefully that's the goal for them. They can get those carries back up to him. So I see it kind of going that way. Dalvin Cook starts off with a ton of carries, kind of plateaus, and then drops off a little bit. Again, ideally they're in the hunt for a number 1 seed in their world. So, but I guess not a bad problem to have though.
Yeah. So that was my same exact thought process. One, for everyone that knows, I do have tickets for the Jets, and that was kind of my thinking. Just keep it 2 years and just call it a day. Say Aaron Rodgers and Lionel Messi, both of those are like 2 years in Miami, 2 years New York Jets, call it a day because that's their window. So they're trying to go for a win all right now. So the league that we're in together, I have Lamar Jackson, James Conner, Khalil Herbert, CeeDee Lamb, Keenan Allen, Mark Andrews, Jordan Addison, Eagles defense, Justin Tucker. I have Travis Kelce, but Kelsey's clearly not going to play tomorrow, I don't think, with this hyperextended knee. Some people were saying it was ACL. Look, if he tore his ACL, I promise you, everybody from the heavens is going to come down and make sure that ACL is good to go because there's no way in hell the Chiefs are going anywhere without Kelsey, unless you're relying on Rice and Sky Moore as your receivers. No. So, and clearly with this team, I went heavy focus on the Ravens and hoping that this bajillion-dollar man of Lamar Jackson can end up turning it together. So that's the main thing there. But I do want to jump into kind of one of my favorite segments that we always get into. And this year, during the middle, we'll end up figuring something out as to what we're going to do. But we got to go into the picks. And first game, Lions-Chiefs.
Chiefs.
And so for everyone out there, I didn't make picks. Normally I end up doing picks in advance, but I'm trying something different this year, and we're just going to go on the fly. I have the Chiefs as well. That's kind of an easy one, although it's not going to be as low scoring as some might think for the Lions. Lions have a better team on offense. Panthers, Falcons. This is a shitty game.
I'll go. I'll go Panthers. That's usually what I say. I'll go Panthers.
I know. The only thing that's going to allow the Falcons to win is going to be Robinson, because Ritter, I don't think he's going to get it done through the air. But the Panthers do have some players, so I'm going to go Panthers. Next one might be good. It'll be a good game to watch. Bengals, Browns.
I'm gonna go Browns.
Really?
I'm gonna go Browns.
Okay. I have Bengals in this one.
Browns. You have Bengals? Okay.
Colts. Yeah, Colts, Jags.
Jags.
I think the Jags will hopefully run away with this division. Fun fact for everyone out there: I just did a draft today, and in like the 5th or 6th round, somebody drafted Anthony Richardson, and I was like, "All right, I don't know why, but y'all might know some that we don't know in this world."
Yeah.
But I have the Jags. I just think that offense for Jacksonville, they're going to get it going at least the first week. You have, Ridley, Kirk, Evan Ingram. You also have Travis Etienne, Trevor Lawrence. But next one, Bucks, Vikings. I think we're going to be the same on this one.
I'll go Vikings.
I have the Vikings. Titans, Saints.
Saints.
So I have the Saints in this one. A lot of people have been talking about pay attention to the Saints defense for the first 4 games. They don't play a lot of tough competition. Next one, we know who he's going to choose unless he switches it up. 49ers, Steelers.
Steelers.
Yep. That's
I'm
kind of what he
changing the
did last year.
mentality.
Oh, you're doing that. I'm going
Yep.
to go with the 49ers just because they just got another $1 million man out there, which shout out Mr.
They
Bosa for
did.
getting
Yeah,
his
sure
money.
did.
Yeah. Cardinals and the Commanders.
Um, man, two dumpster fire of an organizations right now.
It is.
I really hope it ends in a tie, but I'm gonna go with Commanders just because the Cardinals are, I think, a bigger disaster than the Commanders are.
I'm going with the Commanders. I do have to give a shout out, sadly enough, to the Commanders because they sold out their first game. They tried to beg and plead people to come to this game, and somehow, some way, they end up doing it. So I'm hoping it ends in a win for them. They have new ownership. They have Sam Howell, who they believe is like the next coming at the quarterback position for them, which I don't necessarily believe. But it's all for Eric Bieniemy to get this head coaching job. So I hope they do well just for his sake. Texans Ravens, I don't really even need to say my choice.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it out loud.
Okay, so we're gonna go with the next one. Packers against the Bears.
I'm gonna go Bears.
Yep, that's
I'm gonna go Bears.
exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking the exact same thing because we don't know what to expect with the Packers yet. Next one, Raiders against the Broncos.
Broncos Nation, let's ride, baby. We're doing it again. Let's go.
I'm gonna go with the Raiders just because we had every single pick essentially the same. So I'm going with the Raiders on that one. I think Jimmy G will end up doing some with Devontae Adams. They don't really have anything else, but those two. Eagles, Patriots.
Eagles.
I have the Eagles in this one. The Patriots might be the last team in their division potentially this year. Dolphins, Chargers.
Chargers.
Yeah. I love the Dolphins offense, but the Chargers just have so many weapons on that defense that I think that they'll end up doing it. The next game, Rams, Seahawks.
I'll go Seahawks. I can Seahawks this year. I think they're a sleeper.
So Cooper Kupp is not going to play the first game, nor probably some games after that at this rate. So I'm going with the Seahawks on that one. They don't even have Jackson, Smith, and Jigba. So we'll kind of see how that ends up working out. But I think Gino's going to go do what Gino wants to do. Cowboys, Giants.
I'm going to go Cowboys. I mean, Giants. Sorry.
Dang it. I was about to be like, there's no way we got this.
I think the Giants are a sleeper team to win the Super Bowl this year.
Really?
I would, yeah. I think they're a sleeper team, one of a few. I think, again, it's all Saquon Barkley. If Barkley stays healthy and Daniel Jones just like continues to take those next steps, I don't think anyone's thinking he's going to be the next Peyton Manning. But if he just continues to take those next steps year in and year out, like they have a really good roster. Offensively, they have a good roster. I think Darren Waller is going to be a huge pickup. I think that's
solid,
a monumental pickup for them. Like tight end wise, you can do a lot with him. Especially if Barkley is going and you throw in him, like I think they're a sleeper team, and I think Barkley is a sleeper to win the MVP. I'm going Giants.
I will agree. The only other person I will say out there is Jalen Hyatt. Darius Slay and Jalen Hyatt are going to be two solid receivers out there. I don't know if they're going to be 1,000-yard receivers. I can tell you right now that Darren Waller will have at least 900 receiving yards because Daniel Jones should just like force feed him the ball. Saquon should be able to do well, especially another year off of his injury. I'm going with the Cowboys, one, just for us to not pick the same team, but also the Cowboys really need to just find some way in hell to start winning some damn games. And you starting off against an NFC East division rival
on the road
should be on the road. Yeah.
Prime time.
So that's a big, that goes into our last game, which I think I got your prediction correct with this one. Bills, Jets.
I am going to go with the Jets, Jets.
Yep. I thought you were going to do that.
Yep.
And, there's one team in the NFL I do not ever pick against, and it's that man, Josh Allen. Yep. I am still going with the Bills the same way Steven does that with the Broncos. I will do it with the Bills.
Now, I will say my confidence level is not like a 10 out of 10 with this one. I would say scale of 1 to 10, probably like a 6. But they have Aaron Rodgers, and they have Aaron Rodgers, so I'm going to stick with that.
Yeah. So that's all I got. What you got for everybody?
Um, no, shout out to like I said earlier, one of my boys is coming to visit me.
Shout out.
My boy Willie. Been
Hey,
my guy since like second grade. Came up playing sports together, with high school together. Different colleges, but always stay in touch. He only lives like an hour and a half away. So we it was his birthday recently, so I hit him up and we just started shooting the shit. And I said, come down and visit. He doesn't have he's like you, doesn't have a girlfriend, no kids. So like,
exactly.
he's like, I'm free every weekend. I was like, yeah, bet, like come down. So he's coming down Friday. Penn State plays at noon on Saturday. We're gonna play some golf afterwards. Just kick it. So yeah, pumped to see him. It's always good to see the boys that you haven't seen for a while. I know you appreciate that as well. So
Yep.
yeah, good to see the homies. So shout out to my boy Willie.
Shout out.
Shout out.
So mine, honestly, I'm so hyped for this
Where are you,
weekend.
by the way, right now?
I am in Calabasas, or I might actually be in Alaska, or I might actually
Yeah.
be in Asia. Who
Eh,
knows?
judging by the curtains, yeah, I don't know. Could be anywhere. Like the yellow walls. I don't know. I don't know. Might be like
It's
a
in.
like a down. I don't even want to say. Never mind.
So what's crazy is I'm actually at Drake's house.
Yeah.
My boy knows Drake.
Okay. Yeah.
No, but super hyped for this weekend because I put so much into all these different teams. That's kind of the big thing. Like even today, the Jaguars, I started getting a lot of those. So I'm like, damn, the Jaguars, these people really are hyped for the Jaguars.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to end up catching up with a lot of the homies during football
Shout out to the
season.
homies.
I see a lot of people. Yeah, football Sundays we do. Steve and I randomly always get together during football season. We never know when it happens, but it just for damn sure always happens sometime. But other
Mm-hmm.
than that, we'll be back next week to report all the different games and scores. We out.
Deuces.